some of the books on my shelf just recently, and I came across this wonderful volume of the Pilgrim's Progress that I bought years ago in a second-hand shop. And I thought I need to read this again, because it's an allegory on the Christian life, and at one time was the next bestseller after the Bible. I think probably today hardly anybody has read it, and I think that's very sad because it's an inspiring story. And I began to think about the whole idea of pilgrimage, how that when God wanted to settle a people in their own land, he took them on pilgrimage through the wilderness until they reached the land of Canaan. And I thought of how the psalmist said that his heart was longing and yearning for the courts of God, and how blessed were those who had set their hearts on pilgrimage, and how the writer to the Hebrews speaks about how Abraham was looking for a city with foundations, and in that same chapter about the heroes of faith talked about all the Old Testament saints who were longing for a country, and Paul himself, who said he was pressing on to lay hold of the prize that God had called him to. And I thought that's really the journey that we're all on, a journey of pilgrimage. And that Psalm 84, speaks about those whose strength are in you, whose strength is in God. And because they're strong, God takes them on pilgrimage, and it says they pass through the valley of Baca, which really means the valley of weeping. And yet going through that valley, they transform it. The early rains fall upon it, pools of water come upon it. And not only do they change their environment changes them. And so having gone into it in strength, they come out, says the psalmist, from strength to strength, until they all appear before the Lord in Zion. We're a pilgrim people. Every step of the way is blessed. Not every step of the way is easy. There are challenges, there are doubts, there are mistakes, there are problems. All those things are part of everyday life. But when you know you're on a pilgrimage, the things that would have been stumbling blocks over which you fall are transformed into stepping stones by which you make progress. Remember, you were called to be on a journey of faith. We are followers of the way, and we're heading to the ultimate purposes of God for us and for His world. So when trials come, don't give up. When problems arise, don't surrender. When doubts afflict you, don't submit to them. Keep going. Keep moving on, for God is with you to make sure that each one of us arrive at our destiny. He who called you is faithful. And he who called you and has begun a good work in you will complete it in the day of Jesus Christ. We're on a journey that has a conclusion, and we will all make it by faith.